All right, 365 days of horsemanship, day 113 and 114. So, Elsa's clinic. Just awesome. I was so glad that I went. It was definitely the right decision for me. I think having seen her in May and, after such a long time with COVID, just not being able to see her and just really kickstarting things again with Lawrence and potentially feeling like I had some sort of direction with Mia. I'd gone away and I'd really worked on those things for some time, but I was starting to get that sort of plateauing feeling, and I was definitely starting to feel like I wasn't sure where I needed to be going next. And it was just perfect timing. It was absolutely just perfect timing to consolidate the learning that I'd already done and just, I feel like I tightened up the screws. I think that's what it is. I feel like, and I'm sort of doing this retrospectively, which I think is great because I've really been able to see how the clinics really impacted my horsemanship in a really big way. I just feel so much more confident now in my decisions when I'm with the horses. I mean, there was so much. So many little things that I learned, and I definitely really need to do a proper blog post and talk about everything that I've learned, because it's way too long for one video here. But I think I'll try and summarize the most important bits. I think one of the key aspects that I'd actually managed to miss in 5 years of working with Elsa's freedom-based training, that's actually a really important part of the conversation, because it always just feels like a conversation. It's like a give and take. The horse does something and then you do something, and then the horse does something and you do something, and the horse does something and you do something. And based on the decisions that you're both making, you can kind of have more or less influence over the horse, but it's always like an interactive process, like a back and forth. And I think one of the things I'd really missed was I understood the concept of flow, and I understood the concept of flow with a focus change, or with a change of focus that you were really happy with. And I understood the concept of the eyes and the ears being also a part of changing focus. But I think what I'd missed was I remembered Elsa initially talking about the idea of the different spaces you can be around a horse. So you might be at their shoulder or at their hindquarters or by their neck or in the middle of their body, or like there's all these different places that you can be. And I'd understood that the horse needed to be comfortable with you in all of those places, or that was an important goal to have. But I think what I hadn't really understood was the nuance of what happens when the horse changes the position. Because I think what I really took from this clinic was I finally felt like I understand how to be a passive leader rather than a follower or somebody who's in flow sometimes. Because I think I was trying to lead by making all these decisions. But the thing is like, just me making my own decisions is not going to earn trust. Like, stage one of earning the horse's trust and respect as a leader is to make decisions that they, I guess, agree with, but it's almost like you want them to think that you're thinking the same thing that they are, or that you're on the same wavelength that they are. And part of that is, for me, I think, is realizing that they change the positions that you're in. And that is an aspect of the conversation of body language that's going on. And so when I'm coming in now, which has just completely changed my approach, I'm coming in and I'm walking, I'm in supportive leadership until they are changing their focus or I'm seeing something that I like. Then I'm going into flow in that position. I'm taking note of the position that I'm in. So say, for example, I'm by the right hindquarters. I'm then taking my breaths and being in flow, and either at this point things get better, so there's a focus change or something else that I really like that I can then move to a different spot, or things are going to get worse and the horse is going to change the position. And that's, I think, the key bit that I was really missing. I was staying way too long in every place. So even though I was sometimes making good decisions like off my own back, I wasn't really making good decisions that were reactions or interactions with the horse's actions, which is really the most powerful part. And so if you feel that the horse is, or if I feel that the horse is about to change position, or if I feel that they're going to become unpredictable, so their feet are going to start moving, I'm not going to be able to keep up, that's what I need to start moving. And so that was huge. That was a massive, massive change just to have that new piece of technique. And I just feel that everything's just been sharpened up now. I think with Mia, I really have the confidence to hold out for these big category changes. Elsa talked at this clinic, which I was really happy about because we didn't go into it in that much depth in May, is the 5 different areas of focus. So you have self, herd, environment, leader, and learning. And if you take the first letters of all those words, it spells shell, which is quite nice because you're sort of thinking about these areas of focus as being the horse's protective shell. And if the horse can engage with all of those categories in a balanced and, sort of regular way, then they should theoretically be pretty well emotionally balanced. Talking about this again, because I'd heard about it a few years ago, but it's been a couple of years definitely since I've spoken about that with Elsa, or since I've heard her talk about it. And with Mia, I could then immediately identify that she is stuck in self-focus, and that causes her a great deal of concern because she's unable to stop eating because everything else is very stressful for her. And that was really powerful because then it sort of gave me permission to wait, because I think I didn't have the confidence to go forward and be really patient, because with her it's like you can walk and walk, or I felt like you could walk and walk for ages and ages and nothing would happen. She wouldn't change her focus. But actually I think what was happening was that I was losing my confidence very quickly because I wasn't sure if it was going to work or what I was supposed to be looking for, if it was okay that I was looking for something as big as a category change of focus. Because horses are always doing little changes of focus within self-focus. There might be an ear flick or an eye flick or something like that, but they're still sort of mostly in self-focus or whatever focus it is that they're in. And then you have a change of focus from one category to another, so self to herd or herd to environment or something like that. And yeah, and I think just talking about that with Elsa and then seeing it in practice with the horses, where a lot of people were working on that, were working on identifying which focus the horse was stuck in, and then going into some sort of supportive leadership, whether that was rocking or stroking or scratching or walking or any of those things, until the horse changed to a different category of focus, and then providing flow and harmony. And seeing that work really well just really gave me the confidence to come back and start working with that, with Mia, with that in a really structured way. And it's been really successful. And I actually feel really confident in my game plan with her now. With Lawrence, really interestingly, I feel like Lawrence is like the really difficult one at the moment. Like with Mia, I just feel like I've got this missing piece of the puzzle now, and I just have got to do this for the next 100 hours. And it's so nice to feel like I've just got to do that. And I feel so much less impatient about it now that I am confident in the process. And it's just, God, like sessions with her are so easy. Like I just walk and walk and walk until I see something nice and big that I like, and then I stop and that's it. And I go into flow and I try not to stay too long. And sometimes I stay too long, but then I learn when not to stay too long next time. And it's been going really well. With Lawrence, it's fascinating. I can really see how much further along he is, and also how much more complicated that makes it, because Mia's not really codependent at all. She's very, very self-dependent. And it's like not, doesn't feel like high stakes with her. It feels like everything's sort of a bonus, whereas with Lawrence, it's like he's actually he's a little bit codependent, and he's asking me lots of questions, and he's very interactive and he's interested. I don't get to walk for very long when I come in to the field with him, because quite quickly he's coming up to meet me, and then he might want something from me, or he wants scratches, or he's concerned about something, or I'm massaging him, and it just feels like everything's changing so quickly. But it's great because I really feel like I can see that now. Like it's really overwhelming and tricky and challenging, because I feel like there's constantly something else that I need to be doing, and I'm not sure if my timing was right, or if I'm reading the situation right, and then I'm like going back and trying new things, and then I'm thinking that something might be this, and then it doesn't. I'm not sure if it is feeling like that or not, but I can really feel that there's such a growth in my ability to read him now, which is really great. It's just really great. I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy about it. Elsa is doing another clinic in Poland in September. And my God, I really want to go. I just know it will be perfect. Like this one has just been so good. It's been so, such perfect timing to consolidate my learning and then jump ahead. And I just feel like I've progressed so much just from having these two clinics so close together. I can't imagine then what it would be like to then have another one in September. Would just be amazing. And yeah, and I really want to go, but I'm not sure if it's realistic. I'm actually going on holiday again tomorrow. This is a super late one, so all the sort of following videos are going to be much more from the day, whereas this is like a good, well, week late. So I'm actually off on holiday today, so all the videos are scheduled, which is really nice. But yeah, crazy. So I don't know if it'll be realistic or not financially, but I really would like to go, so we're going to try and make it happen. Money comes back, she says. Horses are, opportunities are finite. So yeah, but it's just been amazing. With Lawrence, definitely I think that I'm still pushing against some kind of uncertainty, but I'm just going to keep pushing on through, keep trying new things. It was such an amazing weekend. I do need to do a proper blog post. I mean, I've just barely even scratched the surface. There were so many other little bits and pieces. I want to talk about what I learned about yields. I want to talk about what I learned about the different types of leadership. I want to talk about what I learned about how to manage comfort and curiosity and concern, and how to manage stress levels and when the best time to ask questions is. My goodness, there's so much stuff. So I really must do a blog post. Yeah, but I mean, it was amazing. Like, I still feel this way about it, sort of a week and a half later, maybe 2 weeks later. I just still feel just so like buzzing from having been there. It was just brilliant. So I would highly recommend any of Elsa's clinics that you can get to, for sure.